Hey everybody, it's Stuart with Wine on the Diamond. Today I have an Italian wine for you, but it's a little bit out of the norm because it's not a Barbera or a Barolo or a Barbaresco or a Sangio. So, yeah, stay tuned for the 2019 Castellana Montepulciano D'Abruzzo. Hey everybody, before we begin today's video, if you like it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, click that notifications bell, and stay tuned for more videos to be posted. So today I'm going to be reviewing the 2019 Castellana Montepulciano D'Abruzzo. It is 12.5% alcohol by volume. It's a 2019. I got it at my local grocery store, HEB. So Montepulciano is not to be confused with Vin Nobile di Montepulciano, which is Sangio. Montepulciano D'Abruzzo is Montepulciano of Abruzzo. So essentially it can be anywhere between 85% to 100% Montepulciano grapes. The difference there being it is legally allowed to be blended with up to 15% Sangiovese. Also, another cool thing about it is it's not necessarily in a wine that's aged for a very long time. I think legally it has to at least have 5 months of aging and then 2 years of aging if it's a Reserva, and it has to be at least 12.5% if it's a Reserva on ABV, and it has to be 12% if it is a non-Reserva. So they're not very old wines. Hi, Taco. They're not very old wines, and they don't have a ton of age on them. They're meant to be kind of drank younger, but they are some fun wines. So let's go ahead and take a look at this and see how it stacks up. All right, so from a color standpoint, you are a medium ruby, no artifacts, no cloudiness. Nose. Ooh, so first thing I'm getting is like a slightly funky sour cherry. There's also a little bit of a bread note to it, and it's like a yeast roll. That's what I'm kind of getting out of it, is like a yeast roll type note. There's also a very small bit of what smells like a weak Asiago cheese, and then you're getting a little bit more fruit now. Now I'm getting a little bit of raspberry. There's a slightly darker note, almost like maybe it's like a red currant. It's kind of like this really ripe berry note to it, but it's very generic. It's not very specific. Yeah, that's what generic means, doesn't it? I guess I'm from the Department of Redundancy department here. Yeah, and in terms of secondary characteristics, I'm getting just a very slight smoke to it, and maybe a touch of cinnamon, but nothing else. Anyway, so how does it taste? Medium plus acid, medium plus tannins. It has a reasonably good tannic bite to it. In this balance between like sandy and going into like a chalky realm, like up front, the tannins are kind of gritty, but then that grittiness goes away, but then it's just like chalkiness that's all over your mouth. Speaking of chalkiness, there's just slight minerality to it. The other thing that I'm finding interesting about this is how earthy it is. So on the nose, I'm getting a lot of fruit, but whenever I actually taste this wine, I am getting earth. I'm getting like this weird forest floor, not the type of forest floor you would associate with the Pinot Noir. It's more of like a dry forest floor instead of a wet forest floor. There's really no mushroom notes. It doesn't have the same qualities as a Pinot Noir, but it's the only thing I can compare it to is walking around under the live oaks in Texas. And during the summer when it's kind of dry, you kind of have this dry sandiness just kind of pop up with maybe a slight kind of funk that pops up because of all the stuff being under the leaves. Because if you're out in the hill country, there's no one maintaining the trees. So that's how I would describe the difference between what you're getting in the palate versus what you're getting on the nose, or at least the way I'm perceiving it. Also, in terms of finish, medium finish. Intensity on the nose, it's medium. On the palate, it's medium plus. The thing that gets me about this is just how stark those tannins are compared to the body, because the tannins are medium plus, that body is medium minus. So it has this really high concentration of tannins for the amount of body it has, but the acid kind of elevates the fruit up to fight it a little bit. It's interesting. It's an interesting wine. But how interesting is it? Well, let's get to the blood. From a balance standpoint, I'm going to give you half a point. Lots of tannins. I wish I had a little bit more body with this wine. However, though, I am happy that the acid kind of alleviates some of that tension between the fruit and the tannins, so that is nice, so half a point. In terms of length, medium finish, half a point. intensity, medium on the nose, medium plus on the palate, half a point. And in terms of complexity, I'm getting very minor secondary notes. I'm getting a lot of primary fruit on this. I don't expect this at a 2019 and not being a Reserva to have really any sort of age to it. So the fact I'm getting a reasonable amount of primary fruit, though no secondary, I'll go ahead and give it half a point. In the end, equals 2 points, you're a good wine. This is a wine where if you're going to enjoy it, this could probably obviously pair well with Italian food. But the thing that I would like to use this for is whenever I'm doing kind of a light smoke on stuff, specifically something that's maybe requires a little bit more seasoning, like red meat, just because those tannins are going to soften whenever you add a little bit of that fat and that salt in from the seasoning of the meat and the actual meat itself. So the tannins will soften, but it's nice enough to where if you wanted to sit outside and actually chill this down a little bit more than your normal red, you could sit out there and enjoy a hamburger or some other sort of cut of red meat and still enjoy a slightly chilled red wine on a summer day. Yeah, this is not a bad wine, and like I said, it's good, so it's not a bad wine. Anyway, it's been Stuart with Wine on the Dime. If you liked today's video, please like, subscribe, and comment. Have you had the 2019 Castellana Montepulciano D'Abruzzo? It'd be interesting to know if you have. Leave a comment below, and I'll see y'all again soon with another episode from Wine on the Dime. In the meantime, I'm going to go dream of red meat and pairing it with this wine while I edit this video alone in my room with no red meat. And this wine is not allowed on the new carpet. I just might edit it later after I drink the wine. I'll see y'all again soon.